This is lesson 1.3, writing equations. Now I know that there is this global fear of story problems, but using these 5 steps that we discussed in the notes, you will become a problem-solving machine and you will be begging for more word problems. Well, okay, maybe not begging for more word problems, but you're going to be able to write these word problems and solve them a lot easier. So, these 5 steps tell us how to write and solve an equation. The first step is to underline the useful information. In other words, what do we need to make this go a lot smoother? We're going to ignore the useless bits of fluff. Next, we need to assign variables to the unknown values. So if we're talking about cats and dogs, we might use C and D instead of writing the word cats and dogs all the time. Then we need to write the actual equation using our variables, and if we are given a known value, we have to substitute it into the equation, and then finally we solve the equation like we've been doing. So let's look at a few examples. Write an expression for 4 more than 8 times an unknown value x. Alright, so our useful information here is we have 4 more than and 8 times an unknown value x. So let's start with this 8 times an unknown value x. I see that times, and I'm going to key in on that, means multiplied. So we have 8x, so we have 8 times x. And then we need 4 more than 8x. So starting with 8x, we're adding 4 onto that because it's more than, so we add. And our expression here is 8x plus 4. Next we have, when 6 is subtracted from half of a number, the result is negative 18. What is the original number? Well, 6 is subtracted from then half of a number, and result is negative 18. Those are all of our useful bits of information. Now step 2, we don't have any variables in here. We are just told this, half of a number. Since they didn't actually give us a number or a variable, let's pick a variable. Let's call it b. Okay, so let's start with this on the right. Result is negative 18. Well, result means equals negative 18. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Now, let's look at this. Half of a number b. Half of a number b means that we are going to have 1/2 times our variable b. Okay? Finally, we have 6 is subtracted from. So in other words, we're starting with this half of a number and subtracting 6 from it. So this is our expression, 1/2 b minus 6 equals negative 18. But we're not finished because I asked what is the original number. So we need to solve for b. The first thing that we are going to do is add 6 to both sides. Our 6's cancel here, and we're left with 1/2 b on the left equals negative 18 plus 6 is negative 12. Now we can rewrite 1/2 b to be 1 or b over 2 equals negative 12, because 1 times b is b. b over 2 equals negative 12, and now it's b divided by 2. The opposite of division is multiplication, so we're going to multiply both sides by 2. 2's on the left cancel, and we are left with b equals negative 12 times 2, which is negative 24. And that is our final answer. Next, we have Joe's Pizza. The cost of a pizza is $8.50 plus $1.25 for each topping. Lucy paid $14.75 for her pizza, and they want to know how many toppings did she get. So let's first underline the important information. cost of a pizza is $8.50 plus $1.25 for each topping. And then we also need to know that Lucy paid $14.75. So let's assign some variables now because there's a lot of words and not a lot of single variables. So let's start with cost. A good variable for cost would just be C. And then we also need a variable for topping because it's per topping. So let's say topping equals T. Alright, next we're on to step 3, writing the equation. So, using these variables in the given information, let's write an equation to express this. The cost of a pizza is, so I'm going to say C equals $8.50 plus $1.25 for each topping, or $1.25 times each topping. So $1.25t. And this would be our equation for the problem. But we're not done. It tells us that Lucy paid $14.75, so we have to substitute this value in for cost, because it's how much she paid in total. So we have $14.75 equals $8.50 plus $1.25t. And now we can solve for t. We begin by subtracting $8.50 from both sides. On the left, this gives us $6.25. On the right, our $8.50s canceled out, and we're left with $1.25t. And to get rid of this 1.25, we divide both sides by 1.25 because they were multiplied together. 125 cancels on the right. 625 divided by 125, I plugged that in my calculator and got that 5 equals t, or t equals 5. So Lucy had 5 toppings on her pizza. Let's look at one more example. Kyle earns $3 for every CD he sells and $3.75 for every DVD he sells. Last week, Kyle earned $738 selling CDs and DVDs. If he sold 106, that should be CDs, how many DVDs did he sell? Let's just change that right there. So sorry. So if he sold 106 CDs, how many DVDs did he sell? So let's begin by underlining the useful information. So he earns $3 for every CD, $3.75 for every DVD. He earned 738 and sold 106 CDs. Okay, so let's begin by writing our general equation. $3 for every CD, so we have 3C plus $3.75 for every DVD, so we have 3.75D equals his total earnings, which we'll just call E. But last week, Kyle earned $738 by selling 106 CDs. So let's substitute these things in. We're going to substitute 106 for C. So we'll have 3 times 106 plus 3.75D. This equals 738. So now we need to multiply 3 times 106, which will give us 318 plus 3.75D we can isolate the D by first subtracting 318 from both sides. 318 cancels on the left. We have 375D on the left equals, and 738 take away 318 is 420. Now we need to get rid of this 375, so we're going to divide by 375, since 375 is multiplied by D. And 375 cancels, and D equals 120. So that's a brief overview of how to write and solve equations. Hope that will help you when you are completing your assignment. Just remember to follow those 5 steps, and it's going to make your life a whole lot easier.